Today in crypto, just what the duck did Bitcoin just do? The markets are in the red. Is it time to worry? I don't really think so. In fact, I remain bullish on the market overall. In fact, super bullish, but I do want to break down this recent price action for you to understand what it means for the market, as well as to share some surprising data points with you why the market is actually still in a very, very bullish state. My name is Lark, and this is where you subscribe for all of the hottest and all of the latest happening out here in the wild, wild land of crypto. So, the price of Bitcoin is down. You probably noticed if you've been looking anywhere around the markets recently, suffering from the brutalest single day crash in recent memory. You know, the old timers, they'll tell you the tales of the time long, long ago when in one day, Bitcoin went down by 5%, when he had to walk 5 miles in the cold and the snow just to buy a few Satoshis. And when DeFi, it wasn't even called DeFi, we used to call it decentralized finance. You kids these days shortening all those words up, so gosh darn lazy. That time, by the way, that was last week. We had a 5% dip in Bitcoin last week, and then we hit new higher prices after that. Look, sometimes looking at my comment section, I have to smile a bit. I see comments like, Bitcoin's dumping so hard right now. The markets are tanking. What's going on? And I think, wow, man, something must really be happening here. Or, you know, and so I go and I look at CoinGecko, and Bitcoin's down like 1.5%. Guys, that's ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. What's going on here? Anyway, we're going to talk about that short-term price action here to get started off with. We are going to dive into some of the longer-term things that we're looking at that really just has this bigger picture of why we're in such a strong bull market right now and why this bull phase is likely to continue. Now, that breakout from the ascending triangle we had the other day, obviously that turned out to be a fake out, but actually very, very interesting. If you look where the downward momentum stopped for that price correction, you see it happening right on the line of support of that ascending triangle. So that could mean that we could still actually be looking at that shorter term upwards price move towards $13,800, which has now become the next massively key level for Bitcoin to pass over. That being said, we could see this pattern actually breaking down. Now, again, I'm still short-term bullish unless this pattern fails to result in another move upwards. If that were to happen, then we would see Bitcoin potentially having a bit of turbulence, because while the implied upside from this triangle is around $13,800, the implied downside is around $10,500, which is an incredibly important number since that is the critical line of support for us to hold. It was a massive line of resistance previously for Bitcoin back in 2019 and even earlier this year, and it has actually held as support twice now on corrections for this uptrend. So if we fail to get a bullish breakout, that is where you should be watching for putting your buy orders in at or for going long. And actually, I found this really interesting pattern that I do want to share with you that could be playing out right now for Bitcoin. You see, the current market structure is looking very, very similar to a structure that played out in a very bullish way earlier this year. So we had this breakout that was followed by a very short consolidation period. Then we saw that followed up by a double top. That, of course, was a bearish pattern, so we came back down, established a firm base of support before hitting yet another double top, retesting that support line, and then mooning hard. Now, they're looking very, very similar at the moment. If this model were to play out, then yes, that would imply a failure of the ascending triangle, but not a dramatic failure of the ascending triangle. Obviously, you know, just because this happened in the past does not mean this is going to play out now. It's just a little something interesting for you to think on. It's very fascinating sometimes how these patterns play out in such close coordination with each other. Now, a big thank you to Crypto.com for sponsoring today's episode. So really good news for Australians. You can now buy cryptocurrency using the Crypto.com app via BPay and PayID. Both of those will incur zero fees. Also, the next syndicate event is coming up on the 25th. This time, you'll be able to grab some compound tokens at a 50% discount. You, of course, need to stake 0 tokens and have completed $5,000 in trades on the exchange to be eligible. And, of course, If you want to start earning up to 5% cash back crypto rewards, as well as getting some really sweet perks like free Netflix, premium lending rates, free airport lounge access, then you need to get yourself one of these bad boys, the uber popular crypto.com debit cards. They are now shipping to many jurisdictions around the world. You can get them in the USA, Australia, New Zealand, the UK, the EU, and soon coming to Canada. Now, if you sign up using the link down below in the description, then you will actually get a $50 bonus when reserving a Ruby Red tier card or higher. So do check that out if you're going to be getting yourself a card. Now let's talk about the big picture here beyond that day-to-day noise, which is kind of fun to look at, but the big picture is the more important place. So here are some simple graphs that can help you understand that this market is still firmly in bull territory. Now the first one I want to show you is really to help underline that the current correction, this few percent down that we're in the market, it's nothing serious. Just remember this chart here. So this chart here, this shows the crashes from the previous bull run. There were multiple drawdowns of 30 or 40%, and the market was still bullish. And there were dozens of drops of 10%. It's just, looking at the current drop of 6% in 3 days, that's nothing. That's nothing. It's nothing to worry about at all. In fact, let me blow your mind here a little bit. Bitcoin is still above the 200-day moving average. In fact, it's way above the 200-day moving average. The 200-day moving average is currently down around $9,000, meaning that we could see a Bitcoin correction by 24% and we would still be in a bull market. As long as we maintain above the 200-day moving average, this market will remain bullish. In the last bull run, it stayed above the 200-day moving average for like a year and a half. So one thing is for certain though, if you do see Bitcoin close to the 200-day moving average, buy it. That's all you got to do. The next thing I want to share with you here is the Bitcoin net unrealized profit loss chart that has just broken into the belief zone. Now, the last two times that it broke into this level was during the bear market rally of 2019, where Bitcoin almost hit $14,000. And the other time, which structurally I think is much more similar to our current moment, considering the Bitcoin halving and the start of the run and all that kind of stuff, breaking down the downtrend, was of course back in 2016, which was when that last bull run started. That's kind of where we are right now with this chart. Also, the number of entities holding 1,000 Bitcoin or more is almost back to the heights of 2017, meaning that this bull run is even more packed and ready to go for the party than the previous one, because we're so much farther ahead and there's so many more big entities holding Bitcoin. I mean, there's some big money moving into crypto right now, and there's not even close to enough Bitcoin for all of them to get as much Bitcoin as they might want to get. Investor confidence in Bitcoin is reaching a very strong level, and this speaks really well for it long term. It's not just the big accounts. Nice to see the whales piling up, of course, but in total, 822,000 addresses contain one or more Bitcoin, which is an incredible amount of growth for the network. You can see it basically just has gone straight up over time. Addresses with non-zero balances have also now surpassed the heights of the previous bull run. Now, interestingly, all of that coincides with the steady decline of Bitcoin balances on exchanges. So Bitcoin balances on exchanges have fallen by about 300,000 Bitcoin since earlier this year, down to the current low of around 2.63 million Bitcoin on exchanges. This means that people are buying their Bitcoin, they're taking it off of the exchange, and they're holding on to it long term as an investment. This is, again, very, very bullish. It shows the long-term faith that people have in Bitcoin, from the big investor all the way down to the small investor. Farther evidence for the overall bullish nature of the market as well is that we can see in July that top-tier exchange volumes increased 42% to $334 billion, which is an incredible amount of volume. Now, it's overall stunning to see where Bitcoin and the entire cryptocurrency market is without any really kind of mainstream hype. There's no real herd mania happening right now. We're building this incredibly rock solid foundation for the bull run. This is our rocket launch pad we're making right now. And I think that the message to really take home is this, is that when you find yourself lost in the weeds of the market, just thinking, oh my gosh, what's going on here? Is it all going to end really, really soon? Just stop, zoom out a bit, look at those bigger time frames, look at the big metrics, understand those key metrics that matter in the market, see the market for what it actually is, not better than it is, not worse than it is. I know that can be hard sometimes. We can let our emotions get the best of us, but that cold, sober rationality is a really key asset to have. This bull market is just getting started. There's going to be lots of turbulence. Get used to it. There's going to be lots of challenges. And actually, I think that this meme here really sums it up the best. It takes years of work in diligent investing, protecting your investments, making it through the hard times, making it through all the FUD, making it through the ups, the downs, the crashes, the pumps, all of that stuff. And then after all of those trials and tribulations, and you can get rich overnight. Yeah, that's not how it works, but yeah, it takes a long time, guys. Anyway, your question for today: how are you feeling about Bitcoin in the short term? Are you bullish? Do you think that we're going to crack $13,800 soon, or is it time for a very, very bloody correction for the markets? Let me know down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for tuning in to today's video. Hope you're having a freaking awesome day out there in the real world beyond the internet. Long live the blockchain, and peace out till next time.